Most brutal crashes in F1 history. Let's go.
Hamilton's devastating crash to Verstappen's dramatic incident, which even destroyed a F1 driver's career. These are the terrible crashes that changed F1 forever.
And absolutely smeared. Championship protagonists have taken each other.
And we gotta start with Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, Australia. Very, very bad one. Very bad one.
In 2016, Alonso crashed badly as he went flying against...
That is such a flippin'... What a description.
Alonso.
In 2016, Alonso crashed badly.
In 2016, Alonso crashed badly as he went flying against a wall in the Australian Grand Prix.
Yeah, no, I actually respect him for that so much. He didn't want his mum to worry, so he got out straight away. That is brilliant. Fair play.
He went flipping through the air before coming to rest upside down at 200 miles per hour. Luckily, he wasn't seriously injured and was capable of escaping his McLaren. But trust me, guys, that's nothing. Because what matters...
Hello, Mum. I'm doing a stream. No, it's okay. What do you want? Yeah, well. Love you. Bye-bye.
His father, Jos Verstappen, suffered from was one of the most infamous fire incidents in F1 history.
Is this the pit lane one? Where his car just like bursts on fire?
At the 1994 Hockenheim race, Jos came to the pits after 15 laps, hoping for a regular pit stop, but instead, he experienced the shock of his life. Fuel got sprayed out of the fueling hose and ignited his hot car. This became a huge disaster, as Verstappen in his car and his surroundings caught fire. Everything went up into flames, and it was suddenly dark and black, and I couldn't breathe. And despite this disaster,
that was karma. It was karma for what he was doing to Max.
Pit stop refueling still remained in F1 till 2010, but eventually, after several more incidents...
That's why they got rid of refueling. That makes sense. Yeah, I know Max wasn't born. I know.
Due to refueling, it got banned for good. But even though Jos survived his fiery crash,
yeah, pretty karma. Yo, he looks so much like Max in that. Tell me he doesn't look like Max in that.
Another driver couldn't, which not only made headlines, but also became one of the worst moments in F1's history. In 1994, the crash at the San Marino GP changed F1 forever. Roland Ratzenberger, an Austrian...
This is a really bad crash. This one's worse than the Senna one.
Driver who had competed in just 3 F1 races, crashed his car into a wall at 195.7 miles per hour during qualifying, resulting in his loss.
Yeah, he did die in this one, yeah.
But unfortunately, that wasn't all. Ayrton Senna, one of the best F1 drivers in history, crashed and passed away the next day due to one of the most horrifying crashes in F1.
I think Ratzenberger died straight away though, so that would probably be more preferable to Senna than who is still alive.
On history. There are even rumours that the Brazilian was considering not competing in the Grand Prix because he was so devastated by Ratzenberger's passing.
Yeah. Rubens Barrichello.
Sadly, Senna made the decision to race, and on lap 7, he lost control of his vehicle and hit an exposed concrete barrier.
Well, this guy's just not right though, is he? He didn't lose control of... Well, he did, but it wasn't his fault. He's making it sound like it's Ayrton's fault when it wasn't. The steering column snapped. And apparently that went through his brain as well.
At a speed of about 192 miles per hour. This incident created a great deal of changes in F1, with more emphasis being placed on the safety.
That photo is horrid.
Created a great deal of changes in F1.
That photo is horrible.
With more emphasis being placed on the safety of F1 drivers. To minimize dangerous detachments in crashes, testing methods for tyre barriers were made mandatory. Barriers were secured by rubber belts, and wheel tethers were adopted. But while these terrible crashes changed F1, some crashes also crushed one F1 driver's reputation. And we all know which Russian driver I'm talking about.
Mazepin never had a brutal crash. All his crashes were just stupid skill issues. He was so bad.
Nikita Mazepin's rookie season made some big headlines, but not for any good reasons.
No, it's Mazepin.
He was a laughingstock. Even before his career got started, he was already being judged. And when he crashed in the first race of the year, obviously it didn't.
Rather than Lance Stroll, this is proper daddy's money. This is no skill daddy's money. Lance is, at least he's okay. He's not great, but he's very overhated. He's, to a degree, he's underrated. Like, in the rain, he's actually pretty good.
Help him. But seriously, guys, crash in the first race? I mean, come on. Even Sergio Perez repeatedly called him an idiot at the Portuguese Grand Prix.
Perez called him a flipping idiot, and then 2024 came round and he forgot how to drive as well.
Also, his relationship with ex-teammate Mick Schumacher also deteriorated.
Mick was very mistreated at Haas. Yeah, it was to do with the actual. Yeah, I don't know. They wouldn't let any Russians compete in sports, would they? It was a way to stop funding into Russia to try and stop the war, but it didn't really work. But you know,
and to the point where Mickey.
Yeah, that's what I thought with your Alkali.
Even declared that he wanted to finish him. Oh boy, that got serious. But while this Haas driver's crashes were simply ridiculous, another Haas driver was also involved in a crash, which not only changed his life, but also changed F1 forever. During
okay, so this is Roman Grosjean fireball crash.
The opening lap of the
This is a brutal crash.
2018 Bahrain Grand Prix, Roman Grosjean was involved in a terrifying crash. He reached a peak force of 67 Gs when he crashed.
6-7. Shut up. I'm sorry.
Into a metal barrier at 119 miles per hour.
If he died, I wouldn't have done that, but he didn't. Yeah, I was watching live. Didn't you hear me talk about it in my English presentation? I was like, I and many others thought he would never get out or something like that. That was a good presentation.
It's his car into half and caused an explosion.
I'm mesmerized how he survived this. 7 months ago. Was it really?
John was trapped in the cockpit for 27 seconds before he managed to escape through the raging fire. But later, he revealed that the main reason he's alive is because of the halo, which definitely has become a huge part of F1 safety. But
yeah, otherwise his car would have literally just crashed. And he would have been in it with just like...
Despite the safety precautions, some crashes were simply unavoidable, especially when it looked like a driver would do...
Do I think the halo... No. Because apparently the steering column came through his helmet. Okay, never mind. Oh, it would have deflected the suspension part. Okay, yeah. Oh no. The steering column, yeah. So the steering column I feel like would have killed him anyway. Yeah, no, I think Senna would have died still.
Anything to harm their...
That's sort of that's a difficult one to survive.
Teammates' chances of winning. And we're of course talking about Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. Despite winning both Constructors and Drivers' Championships, things got personal for the Mercedes drivers.
Do you think it would have saved him, Tom?
Especially at the height of it, when the pair took out each other on the opening lap.
This isn't a brutal crash. No, wait, did it say that? Oh yeah. No, it would have prevented the specific impact that killed him. But no, but the actual steering column came through his helmet. Look, wait. Oh my god. It's not. It's not. It's not.
But the Spanish Grand Prix, the crash was so bad that it not only fractured their already tense relationship, but also had Mercedes threaten
The crash wasn't that bad. In terms of brutality, this was not that bad of a crash.
to sack both drivers. But what's interesting is the pair were actually childhood friends, and even after that, their friendship suffered and got ruined to the point where Lewis even told Mercedes that he didn't want to race for them again. Niki Lauda also stressed that both drivers pushed each other to the limit, hence the crash.
Whose fault do you think this was? I think it was both of their fault, but I lean towards Rosberg more than Hamilton.
But turns out, this crash was nothing compared to the crash that Niki experienced
Why include it in your video then?
during his racing days, which was so devastating that it forced F1 to make changes. It was 1976, German Grand Prix. Bad weather and track coverage meant that parts of the Nürburgring circuit were wet. Now, what's interesting is, even though Lauda was the fastest driver on the circuit, he still expressed his displeasure with the track and asked his fellow drivers to abandon the race. But
It's always stuff like this. I mean, yeah. But I also think that Rosberg moved late. It is a racing incident, though. With this one, it's the same as the Senna thing. They always say that they don't want to race, and then they end up racing and they die. Or not die, but they get into a massive accident.
unfortunately, he was out.
Die in the case of Senna, but obviously Nicky survived, luckily.
Voted, and as such, the race went ahead, and
It's still like a life-changing thing. That when they had to suck all of like the bad stuff out of his lungs, that would have been painful as.
sadly, at the notoriously dangerous Bergwerk corner, he lost control of his Ferrari, veered off the track, collided with a wall, and his
I don't think I'd ever actually seen that video before.
car
His lungs from the fire got a ton of stuff in it, and they had to. Have you ever watched Rush Hour? The lung vacuum. Wait, let me just check if this is TOS. There's not really anything on it, but okay, wait. Yeah, Rush, yeah, that's it. This. They had this vacuum by here, and he tells them what to do. They had this vacuum that went through his mouth into his lungs, and they had to vacuum out all of the stuff that went in. Because there was debris, carbon, and plastic in his lung. Yeah, someone did get decapitated. Yeah, no, it's a really good film, I think.
burst into flames. The Austrian driver suffered severe burns to his head, hands, and inhaled hot fumes that damaged his lungs. And after being taken to the hospital, he fell into a coma and was even given his last rites. But he survived, thank God. But
That mask is creepy as fuck.
while Niki Lauda's crash became a defining moment in his career, Nicholas Latifi's crashes were also pretty much defining, but not in the way he wanted.
There's no brutal crash. This is going to be like Latifi at flipping Abu Dhabi 21. That was not a brutal crash. He like tapped the wall.
In the
Yeah, I know. From flipping Fireball Niki Lauda into Latifi. Niki Lauda to Nicholas Latifi, like.
final laps of the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Latifi ruined it for Mercedes.
This isn't a brutal crash.
Hamilton saw his lead cut after Latifi crashed into the barriers. But as apologetic as Latifi was about the incident, he did little to change his Latifi status, as he also crashed behind a safety car at the Monaco Grand Prix. Behind a safety car.
How did you even lock up? Surely he had to lock up. Because there is no way he just hasn't steered around the corner.
I mean,
Slowest corner in F1.
come on. how does that even happen? Well, this is what Latifi said. The throttle didn't get stuck, but it was like the throttle got stuck.
Alright, your steering wheel didn't get stuck though.
It was very strange and surprising at the same time, and I was already going so slow there, I was just a...
Yeah, you have pretty bad crashes, bro. Those should be in this video. They are brutal. These are like tapping the wall. Look, we're on the most brutal crashes in F1 history. You want to see what he's pulled up?
As he also crashed behind a safety car at the
Car's not even damaged.
Monaco Grand Prix. Behind a safety
That is the most brutal crash in Formula 1 history, boys, by the way.
car. I mean, come on. How does that even happen? Well, this is what Latifi said. The throttle didn't get stuck, but was already going so slow there, I was just a passenger at that point. The car is driving forward and I'm not on the gas, so I don't know what's happening here.
So turn the car. Just turn the car, man.
Well, now that's one way to put it. But remarkably, that wasn't all. During the Japanese Grand Prix practice session, he got lost and turned down, but instead of owning up, once again, he blamed the incident on the car being strange. Go Tifi, go Tifi.
The car's strange. The car just randomly pulled a U in.
What a guy. But while Latifi's crashes luckily didn't cause any serious harm, unfortunately we can't say the same thing for Antoine Hubert, because as...
How is this guy stuffing Latifi tapping into the bloody hairpin at Monaco? In between Niki Lauda's fireball crash, where he had to vacuum his lungs whilst conscious, feeling it all, and Antoine Hubert, who died. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like this video. No one's talking about it.
As we all know, the crash he was involved...
The guy that got yeah, we've already done the guy in the F1. That was a mental crash. They've done that one already, the fire one.
in was simply devastating. In the Belgian Grand Prix, the F2 driver...
I remember what this happened, when this happened. And I got a notification of Sky Sports News, and there was a video attached to it. So before they knew that he died, they put a video on to see the massive crash.
Was involved in a high-speed crash.
You haven't seen the F1 movie, bro? It's been out. I liked it, but it's very unrealistic.
On the second lap, Hubert collided into a...
They're going to show the video here, I think.
...barrier near the high-speed Eau Rouge turn, and was then struck by another driver, Juan Manuel Correa.
Can you imagine how bad he feels?
Which caused Hubert's car to be completely destroyed. Antoine later succumbed to his injuries and thus couldn't survive. But sadly, that's not all, because Formula 1 racing icon Jackie Stewart also experienced a similar incident at the same corner. Stewart was left facing his...
Yeah, Eau Rouge is dangerous. Wait, this was Eau Rouge, isn't it?
...end when he crashed his car at the Spa circuit, which left him hanging upside down with fuel trickling down his face. He was safely rescued from...
Yeah, that is horrible for Correa. Oh yeah, Radlon, okay, yeah. Eau Rouge sections into Radlon there. Does it not? I think it does. After this video, I'm going to grab a new drink because that water's disgusting.
...his automobile by 2 other drivers, and since then, he's led multiple campaigns to increase drivers' safety. But surprisingly, his initial thoughts were that seatbelts were unnecessary and uncomfortable. But since then, he's...
Unnecessary is crazy.
...changed his mind after these many new safety measures prevented from losing many drivers. When I was starting in the Formula 1 world, the tracks were hideously dangerous. There were no runoff areas, and it was just crazy. Ridiculous things like telegraph poles were up close and personal. But while Stewart already changed his views about seatbelts...
Please stay, Tal. I beg you. Because I'm watching like one more video after this. I'll react to like one more video after this, and then I'm going to end stream. Please stay.
Carlos Sainz's crash still forced the FIA to dig deeper regarding its seatbelt rule. During the second practice at the Monza circuit, Carlos Sainz...
Where are you going, Ian?
...crashed hard into the wall at the Ascari chicane. The impact was so heavy that Sainz was pushed pretty far forward towards his steering wheel, despite having his seatbelt on. F1 fans got extremely alarmed by this, but the FIA still noted that while Sainz's case was strange, it's
pretty
normal
fun,
for
to be fair.
seatbelts to give a little impact, because doing so is far safer for the human body than when they are rigid. Even Michael Massey said, "I think the seatbelts are made to stretch."
Even Michael Massey, who is pretty well known to not be the smartest guy ever.
We will look at the seatbelt, as we do with any major incident or significant incident like this, and see what we can learn from it. But even though this crash created
No, Michael, no.
FIA ways to
That is so not right.
improve the sport, another crash created dispute among Red Bull's teammates, which even led to one of them leaving the racing team. At the 2018 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, both Red Bull drivers, Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo, crashed into each other while
Bro, I was trying, okay?
battling on the long straight. Both of them seemed to move on
Ewan's the one that took German GCSE.
the braking. Verstappen defended too hard, and Ricciardo attacked too aggressively, thereby resulting in a double DNF. After the race,
This isn't a brutal crash, though.
incident eventually made him leave the Milton Keynes-based team, similar to his former teammate. But still, this crash was nothing compared to what Guan Yu Zhou
This is like this guy's tactic, you know. This is like he puts in like someone who doesn't have a brutal crash, and then he'll do a beat drop, and he'll be like, but that was nothing compared to this driver's that. Yeah, Zhou's was bad. This is a brutal crash.
had at the British Grand Prix. At the opening lap of the race, George Russell
I'm getting there.
collided with the Alfa Romeo driver Guan Yu Zhou, which then sent the Chinese driver's car flying across the track, sliding on its halo before being sent over a concrete barrier and into
I had mad respect to George Russell for this one. He literally got out of his car and just ran after him to see if he was okay.
the retaining wall. This crash was so severe, as Zhou was literally skidding while upside down for a considerable amount of time. But thankfully, Zhou was unharmed, owing it to the halo, and even confirmed on Twitter that the halo saved his life. The halo is just one of the numerous inventions that shows how much F1 has advanced in terms of safety and saved so many lives. But unfortunately, we can't say the same for Jules Bianchi, this young, talented driver who was the first person ever to be in the Ferrari Drivers Academy, had his dream dashed when he crashed his car into a 6,500 kilogram crane, which was clearing German
That should never have been there. That crane should never ever have been there.
driver Adrian Suttil's car. Suttil's car had spun out of control and crashed in the same spot the lap earlier, and as a result, his car was still being cleared by the crane when Bianchi lost control of his car on the same curve.
This is kind of the same thing for Sutil. Do you think he feels like, oh, if I didn't crash, then he wouldn't have died? Because if I was Sutil, I'd think that, like, obviously it wasn't Sutil's fault. It was the race director's fault. Should never have had a crane. No, not like Correa, because Correa literally hit him, but on another degree, on a lower level for this one. If he didn't crash, then Jules wouldn't have died.
And crashed into the crane at 78 miles per hour and ultimately lost his life.
Wait,
Crashed into the crane
78 miles
at
an hour?
78 miles per hour
See, that's not even that fast for an F1 car, but that is still rapid.
and ultimately lost his life. This tragic incident forced the FIA to implement the 4-hour rule, which requires that races held during the day must take place no less than 4 hours before sundown, along with modifications to track drainage and how emergency vehicles handle collisions. But even if these drivers' crashes created some positive rule changes, sometimes F1 drivers simply force the FIA to make a rule change. But this time, it's just for their benefit. One F1 driver forced a rule change just to gain an unfair advantage in the race. Another driver forced it, which was so bizarre that it even changed F1's future forever. But who are these drivers, and what changes did they enforce? But more
Yeah, Tom
importantly,
Price. That's the
why?
one
I
time.
know you want to hear more about this, so just click the
The last